Hey, Chris Jenkins, credentialed member of the media covering the Carolina Panthers for Charlotte Vibe, aka Man of the People, giving you this update Friday for the Carolina Panthers as we prepare to take on the Atlanta Falcons. I want to always ask you to hit that like button, if not for the reason that I decided to be outside on the field, haven't been on the field all week because it's been so hot. So smash that like button, help other Carolina Panther fans find out about this channel. And if you're watching and you haven't subscribed, please consider hitting that subscribe button. Really does help me do more for you all, like interview coaches and players. Just got through interviewing Hayden Hurst today at you guys' request. So hit that subscribe button as well. I promise to make it worth it for you. You also now have the opportunity to join the channel. So hopefully some of you will consider doing that. So just a few more days and the Carolina Panthers will open their season at the Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta against the Atlanta Falcons. So for you, let's get you updated on the most important thing that everybody wants to know about. Was Brian Burns here today? Yes. Did Brian Burns participate in the walkthrough today? Yes. Has Brian Burns, since everybody's signing their contracts, is he about to sign? Well, no, nothing yet. So we had Bosa a few days ago, reset the market for edge rushers. We had Joe Burrow last night, probably making Bryce Young think, yes, I'm going to get paid. Huge contract by Joe Burrow, huge contract. Highest paid quarterback in the NFL, and nothing yet on Brian Burns, which you don't expect him to reset the market, but you just expect him to get somewhere near the new contract that Bosa just signed. Regardless of whether or not he deserves it, it's just the way that this business works in the NFL. A whole other video that we'll have to talk about doing, but no updates. That sun just came out blisteringly hot now, so if you hadn't hit that like button for the sweat that you're about to see coming down, please hit the like button. I also see some comments that are coming. So I'm going to go through this, and pending that I can see the screen because of how bright the sun just got, I'm going to go to all your comments. If it's too bright, then I'll just make sure after the live video, I'll go back and get to them. So Frank Wright had his final press conference of the week today, opened it by telling you there's not going to be any updates on Brian Burns. We tried, still wouldn't give anything. But I will say this. He told me earlier this week when I asked him about, well, what's the cutoff date for Brian Burns playing? Sunday. So yes, I feel like in terms of this week, the team travels tomorrow. So you'll know by tomorrow if Brian Burns is going to play, because to me, I really feel like if he's not traveling with the team, if he has not signed a new contract, why are you going to travel and just kind of wait and see what happens? I mean, you know whether or not he's going to play at that point before you before you board up the plane in Charlotte to go down to Atlanta. So we'll see. Hit the bell notification. I'll keep you guys up to date on that information. Wide receivers been getting dinged up. So we got the final injury report of the week, which has some roster changes, and even one that has happened before I scheduled the video that I need to tell you about. So let's go ahead and take a look at the current roster changes. Well, what will be affected by a roster. Wide receiver DJ Chark is going to be out versus the Atlanta Falcons. So a guy that Bryce Young will absolutely miss. He connected with Chark so many times down in training camp. He's connected with him in a game, but he's not going to have the chance to do that. He's going to have to rely on these younger players, Chark and Thielen being one of the older players. Thielen's a question mark, which I'm going to get to in a second, but hate to see that Bryce Young is not going to have all of his weapons as they open in Atlanta in a couple of days. So let's go through the rest of this list. Sam Franklin, he was a full participant in practice today. He's been dealing with a knee injury. We have some good news, though, on the wide receiver front. That good news being wide receiver Terrace Marshall was a full participant in practice. Therefore, he is going to play on Sunday. Very likely to be the guy that steps up in place of DJ Chark. Just going off that depth chart, it's Chark, then Marshall. So I would assume that Marshall's going to step up and get the chance to start this Sunday in Atlanta. We also had Adam Thielen, questionable. Adam Thielen is questionable, which means they don't know for sure if Adam is going to play this Sunday in Atlanta. Definitely will be making, well, I can't say definitely, but really should be making that flight down to Atlanta to see what kind of last-second decision that he will be. When asked about elevating some of the other wide receivers, like a Derek Wright, Coach said it may happen, but we just still need to see how things progress with Thielen, and then we'll make decisions accordingly. There also has been one transaction that has been made, again, since, within the last 20 minutes for this Carolina Panthers team. That is signing of linebacker Chandler Wooten from the practice squad, signed him to the 53-man roster. They had 2 spots open on that 53-man roster. They now still have 1 spot remaining on the roster. And guess what? For your understanding of all these rules, they still do have the ability to elevate up to 2 players from the practice squad for this Sunday's game. With those players that they elevate, they automatically revert back to the practice squad come Monday. I forget the exact limitations on how many times they can do that. But again, Chandler Wooten, linebacker, has been signed to the 53-man roster. Panthers have 1 more slot left for 53, and they also have the ability to elevate 2 guys from the practice squad to that 53-man roster for the game on Sunday. A few more updates that I want to get to everyone. Miles Sanders, who has, we've not seen at all since he's been here. Coach does expect Miles Sanders to have his full complement of plays this Sunday. Now, full doesn't mean that he's expected to go every single play, because that's something they, never intended for Miles to do. But, the normal rotation that they had sought out for Miles, he feels like that is what they're going to do. Other things about who may be in what position, that's not an absolute starter, like gunner, things like that, returning kicks. Frank hasn't been willing to say anything, and I get what he's trying to do. Frank Reich, unless it's an absolute no-brainer who's going to be in what position, he is trying to hold close to the vest every single detail that he can to have the Atlanta Falcons just having to react from what they see, not giving them a chance to prep for it. So I get it. That's what he's doing there. All right, let's go ahead and go to some of the questions that have come in. And if you haven't hit the like button, as your boy continues to stand out here and sweat it out, I don't know what you're waiting for. How else can I earn you hitting that like button? Please do so. Subscribe is also a good thing to do if you have not subscribed. All right, let me go ahead and try to get through some of these comments here. All right, Mad Chatter talking about Brian Burns, pay him or trade him first and a semi-good rusher. At this point, I'm just going to say I will continue to bring you all the information that I have for you to decide what may or may not happen. For me, it's getting so complicated because there's so much unknown. There's so many possibilities. I try to talk about my intuitions when I feel like there's a good one. With the Brian Burns situation, I don't know. But I appreciate your comment, Mad Chatter, for jumping on. I like this Tim Estes, man of the people. So let me share this with you really quickly. So I forget who it was, but someone said, hey, Chris, you need to introduce yourself to the coach during the press conference as man of the people. And you guys may or may not have picked out. I'm not the most outspoken kind of guy. I like to be low-key, but just do my job to get you the information. But today, when interviewing Hayden Hurst, I said, you know what? It's a one-on-one situation. I'm going to go ahead and put it out there. So I introduced myself as man of the people. And I could tell he's like, hadn't heard that before. And he said he liked it. He liked it. So appreciate it, Tim Estes. I'll continue to put that out there when I can. AJ Lindsay, thank you for joining me. Fred McGee, sup? Yeah, it's hot. Fortunately not as hot as it's been all week, so I decided to get on out here so you guys can see that I am a credentialed member of the media. Be out here on the field for you, sweat it out a little bit. Victor says, just here to say love your content. I'm a lurker, but I love the great info on the greatest team ever. Keep pounding. Hey, Victor, appreciate you tuning in. Live videos, we do it so we can interact with you guys, and also want everybody to be willing to jump on the show, ask your questions. Properly done on the radio where you have call-ins, but we're going to implement that on this channel here where we want you all to call in, FaceTime in, whatever you want to call it. Join us. Sometimes just give us your comments. Sometimes you might have a question. And we just want you to feel connected to me like, hey, I have somebody in the media that I could ask a question, whatever that question may be, and be a resource for y'all. But appreciate the comments, Victor. What's up, bro, Cam? Phi Beta hitters, he's practicing, so I believe they're just crossing T's and dotting I's. Yeah, I mean, that's one thing. But I really felt like once Bosa signed his contract with his, 2 days ago at this point, I felt like at that point it should just be a matter of formality. Like, we were waiting for this reason. I feel like both sides were knowing that may be the last I to dot. And then when it happened, I felt like now it's just a matter of going ahead and signing it. So it has not been, and yeah, we'll talk about it more when I don't have to be sitting in the sun talking about it, but appreciate the comment there, Phi Beta Hitters. Jay Bull, imagine we drafted Amon St. Rod instead of TMJ. Yeah. And another comment along those lines, I'm trying to get it on the screen here. Scott says maybe ISM will blow away everyone and move up to a #1 pick. So, so many things are possible. He's on the active roster, so I haven't been able to see him firsthand in practice because when they traded for him, it was after the period where practices are open to the media. Practices are still now open, but it's really only open long enough for us to see these guys go through warm-ups and then do a little bit of drills in their position group, not having a chance to see these guys do 7-on-7s or any kind of team drill. So when you all see him potentially this Sunday, will be the first time that I get a chance to see him as well. And we'll see what he does. He certainly has potential, had a pretty good preseason, but it's preseason. So you really need to see what those guys do when it counts on a Sunday and during the regular season, and we'll see. Panthers, not sure how you missed the first game of the season due to injury. That's not a good sign. Yeah, it's a concern with Chark, and here we are already, first game of the season, realizing that concern. Guys, I've got about another minute that I can be out here, and it's just too hot that I'm going to have to go inside, but I'm going to try to interact with as many comments as I can before I get out of here. Pay Burns, yeah, they should. Chance Hines, what's going on with you? Ken Blakely, man of the people. Hey, I'm going to earn it. I'm going to earn it. I'm determined. Like I said, I'm still a little bit of a quiet guy, but I'm going to work my magic and start to build some sources and just work my butt off for everybody that wants to know about this Carolina Panthers team. So there's some talk in the chat about Matt Corral. Not exactly sure following along what that talk is, but I'll just say this. In a nutshell, Matt Corral was waived or released. He was then had to go through waivers, did not clear waivers, was picked up by the New England Patriots. Last I saw, he is the backup quarterback in New England, and he is no longer on the Carolina Panthers roster. So hopefully that helps some of the chatter that I see in the chat going on. Again, I didn't read it completely, but maybe that'll help you. All right. So that's all that I'm going to get to at this point because of how hot it is. Hit the like button, subscribe if you have not already done so. Turn on the bell notifications because Andre and I, the full team, Patrick, our photographer, will be down in Atlanta this Sunday. Talked to Andre. I said, hey, I got a lot of content this week. Got a lot of good stuff from probably about a dozen players, really a lot of players. So we're going to do an hour-and-a-half show on Sunday instead of the normal 1 hour. We're going to preview the matchup versus the Atlanta Falcons, but we're also going to break down and talk about each position group and hear what the players have to say about each position group, right? So if you like to see that and hear it, again, subscribe, turn on your notifications. That'll be it for now. JD, I love this comment, so I will put this comment on here before I get out of here. Go inside to the AC. That's what I'm going to do. Chris Jenkins reporting live from Bank of America Stadium for Charlotte Vibe.